Hi guys, welcome to Sprayhead Mondays on Antique Sprinklers. So today we're talking about another old Buckner brass spray head. It is their 404, not their 404B, which I see a little more frequently out there, but an actual 404, which is a little more rare. And so it is a 3/4 inch pop-up spray head. It has a longer body than the 404B. It's really, if you're familiar with the different sizes that the 403 from Buckner came out in, it's really the same height as their medium pop, they called it. And sort of the original standard for pop-up sprays, if you go back to the 1910s and 1920s when these things first came on the market, many of them were 3/4 inch inlet. They popped up a little bit, and then they put out a pretty significant amount of water. Typically they were meant to be spaced about 20 feet apart, and you'd have, you know, instead of a quarter circle putting out 1 gallon a minute and a half circle putting out 2, you'd be more like a quarter circle, depending on the size of the nozzle you selected, putting out 2 to 4 gallons a minute, and the half putting out more like 4 to 8 gallons a minute. And by the time you had a full circle nozzle in one of these pop-ups, you were up over 10 gallons a minute. And so they did put out a ton of water. What we have in this one is a standard quarter circle nozzle, and I think it puts out around 3.5 gallons a minute, something like that, and was intended to be spaced every 17 feet. I can't be certain of how old this particular example is. What I like about it is it was in the ground for a while, obviously. It shows wear without real damage, maybe a couple of nicks on it, but and then the lettering on it's been worn over the years, and I just imagine a lot of feet going over it and lawnmowers and stuff like that, but it never really took a hard direct hit that would clip off a side of these things sometimes. As far as age, I can only be sure as to how possibly young it could be, and that would be place it in its like mid-50s. In the early 70s, after Cosin sold Buckner to Johns Manville, they dropped this one from the product line and kept the 404B, the shorter one. And then as far back in time as it goes, I don't know. I don't have turf catalogs from the 20s, 30s, or really even 40s from Buckner. I do have it in my 1955 catalog. It is there without the 404B, so I think it was the standard for the 3/4 size. And when you went down to that little low pop spray head, all they had was the 403. And so I'm guessing it had been around a while. It would not shock me if Buckner introduced these guys in the 1920s, and I'll try to find more out about that, and I'll let you know what I do find. I have 2 others. One has a half circle nozzle in it, and the other a full circle. This one's in the best shape, and so I soaked it a little bit just to get the grime off of it. It was pretty grimy, and but most of the patina that would have built up over the last 50, 60, 70 years. And I'm going to go ahead and say the odds are that it's about 60 years old. They were sold all through the 60s. That's the most recent decade in which they would have played a big role in the product line. I think designs were changing by then. So, you know, it could be from earlier than that and just a true survivor. We don't know. But it's old enough to be interesting to me. It puts out a ton of water, as you'll see. And the last thing I'd say about its condition is I think the rubber seal on the bottom of the spindle is dry, and might be dry rotted even. And I don't have a tool that can get at the spindle in these guys. The spindle's too short. It doesn't stick out the bottom of the sprinkler when the head's retracted, like the 404B or even the 403s in all sizes do. So I'm stuck with the O-ring that this guy has in it. But it doesn't really detract from the pattern at all. You see a little bit of water coming up around the nozzle, but more oozing than spraying. So So hopefully that's not too bad. Anyway, I'm going to get out of the way now and let you guys watch this thing in action. Thank you.